from infrastructure to job opportunities to housing and much more. We begin tonight by taking a look at poverty in Syracuse.
In September, the U.S. Census released data from the American Community Survey.
The new numbers showed the levels of poverty and income for states and local cities across the country, including the 2018 statistics for poverty here in Syracuse. Our Talking Points anchor Conor Wight explains what the numbers mean.
Guys, this report was released back in September and highlights the fact that the city suffers from high levels of poverty. Before we get into the numbers, let's establish what we're talking about here. According to the U.S. Census, a family whose total income is less than $25,000 is living in poverty. In 2018, just under a third of Syracuse residents live below that poverty line. Now, that's a marginal improvement compared to last year. Poverty decreased in Syracuse as it did across the state and the country from 2017. You can see on this graph in the blue, that's the percent rate of poverty in Syracuse, New York State, and the United States, and on a per capita basis, Syracuse is a lot higher than both the state and the U.S. Poverty is also on the decline across demographics here in the city. Children under the age of 18 living in poverty dropped slightly, while African Americans also had a small decline in poverty rate. The rate of Hispanics living in poverty in Syracuse dropped about 10%, but numbers are only a small part of the story. Frank Ridzi is the Vice President for Community Investment at the Central New York Community Foundation. He says that there are a number of issues surrounding someone's economic status and that there's no one fix for the problem.
You try to address one part of it and you really can't do much until you address the other part of it. For instance, if a person needs a job and you say, well, let me just help them with job training, you soon realize they have childcare issues, have transportation issues. They live in substandard housing. And so you realize in order to help that person get that job and keep that job and then advance, you're going to need to deal with all those issues.